Well, well, well. We are back again. 2 nights on the bounce, right? I'm the new Sensum, it must be. But we're here. We should be live. We should be rolling. As far as I know, we are good to go, or cooking by gas, if you like. And yeah, good to be back again. We went what about 3.5 hours last night, and it took its toll. It took its toll. I had a sore neck. I must have been sitting weird. I'm unsure. Sitting too high or sitting too low. Either way, uh, uh, yeah, all good in the hood. I had a good sleep. Um, Bad weather again today. Rain, wind, rain, more wind, wind and rain. You'd think I stayed in Scotland, right? Wait a minute. So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in this absolutely insane world that we live in. Holy moly. Where do you begin? Hey, answers. Do people still do postcards? I guess possibly, right? Old people, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's still a thing, but everything tends to be done online now. So people stay in touch, even if they're on holiday. They're on FaceTime, they're on Messenger, they're on, WhatsApp. There's endless amounts of communication channels now. And quite fitting because I just put a video on Bill Cooper talking about censorship in, I believe it was 1999. It could have been 2000, and talking about the censorship of the internet, the interweb. And of course, I did say last night, when it comes to the internet, who controls it? Who made it? DARPA made it. It's controlled by the powers that be. It probably would never be changed by us. It's a tool for them to use. And there's many aspects to it. I think the World Wide Web, when they called it that probably should have said it all, to be honest. It's a gigantic web that you get caught in, and then the spider comes along and gets you, eats you, well, wraps you up, and then devours you, right? If that's the right word, we'll go with that. So we done Deep Fake Kate last night, part 3. Yeah, probably be a part 4 at some point in the future. I'd imagine in the near future. But tonight, basically, we continue the new world. Sorry, I got it wrong straight away. The new war order, which is, yeah, quite funny because the part 2 that I done 2 years ago. So yeah, a bit of a gap to say the least. But the Wikipedia and the powers that be put on you know how they put the Wikipedia fact check box basically, and it was the New World Order, but the stream was called the New War Order, WAR. And to be fair, it's the same thing anyway. It's the same people behind it, if we can even call them people. Um, God only knows what they are, but they're not like me and you, put it that way. So tonight I want to point out a couple of quotes from Morals and Dogma by the satanic Albert Pike. And there's a letter that is seemingly written by Albert Pike. We might get into it tonight, but I might leave it for possibly next week, God granted. But tonight I want to point out quotes and a particular passage from Morals and Dogma. And these are definite quotes from the book in relation to the World War One, Two, Three letter. I think they call it a letter. It's seemingly written by Albert Pike, but there's not really anything concrete to tie it down to Albert Pike. So the kind of mainstream media narratives say, well, it could have been written by anybody. So there's a lot of debate around that. But tonight I'm going to point out definite quotes from the book. And there's loads of passages from it that is worth sharing. But I picked out one in particular. So I picked out quotes, and then I've picked out a particular passage from the book. And the whole book is available to download online for free, right? So you can't resist it when it's when it's for free. Look at what happened in the 2020 scenario. What, a free donut, a free beer? Sign me up to that, right? I mean, talk about gullible, man. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, where do you even begin with these kind of people who basically sell their soul for a donut from, I don't know, what's the Dunkin' Donuts? What's the other one called? It's failing me now. But to be fair, they have got good donuts. Not that I'd be getting juiced for one, that's for sure. In relation to the juice, it the only way I would have been taking it is over my dead body. Then they could have inoculated till their heart's content. Uh, Otherwise, no. In this living realm that we're in, it would be straight up no, 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 no. No matter what they did, bribed, bullied, blackmailed, uh, kidnapped, arrested, put into prison, so be it. I would be there with a a big smile on my face, insert joke. And there's some, you've got to in life. You've kind of got to draw the line. You've got to have your own morals about you, lines that can't be crossed. And that for me was definitely one that it was never getting crossed, no matter what they did, no matter what they done. And I did see a lot of people say, well, I was going to lose my job. I had no option. I heard, I shouldn't laugh, but I heard that quite a lot. I never had an option. I never had a choice. Come on. That doesn't float, I'm afraid. There's always a choice. You've always got another option. The trouble is, a lot of people have not got what could I call it? I kind of want to call it common sense. And they have basically a herd mentality about their life. Oh well, if they're all doing it, I'll do it, right? Because here where I stay, um, a lot of people did fall for it. Definitely, many people. I mean, I witnessed the queues of people at the Jabatua waiting to be juiced up to the eyeballs. And thinking back, there would be people that I don't know of, but it's not a big place, and I've been here my whole life, so I know pretty much everybody. And in comparison to the amount of people who did take it, who fell for it, a very small number of people did not. And including myself, we got demonized, we got laughed at, we got pointed at, we got looked at in strange ways, like I'd grown an extra head. Of course I didn't, but they might be today. if they're still here, that is. And I mean, basically, all I can put it down to is doing my own research on the particular subject. And after I done that, I thought, nah, I can't do that. I can't be putting myself through that. I can't be putting my family in that kind of danger willingly. And I think anybody who would have just took the time, had a bit of common sense to look into it, they would have done the same. But when the majority of sheeple put their faith in the powers that be, I mean, the government, big pharma. Honestly, where have these people been? Where has their heads been? I guess caught up in a fast-paced capitalist system built by consumption and just complete destruction. So I don't blame them, and I kind of don't hold it against anybody unless they still push it today. I might not like that too much, but hey, we can all make mistakes, and hey, you be the bigger man. You do what's right from then on. So I never hold it against anyone, but I just I feel that people should have been a bit more aware, especially when we had Boris Johnson and his cronies standing on the television telling you what to do. If that was if that wasn't a red flag, man, then you definitely need to get out more. That was the only red flag that you needed. They were the ones who pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. In Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, day in, day out, for weeks in a row, she stood on the TV and talked a complete and utter load of BS. Day in, day out. And there was one politician from this area who, after a while, going into the whole 2020 scenario, he was doing live streams from his Facebook. And I mean, it's thinking back, it's quite insane. But the guy was streaming, I think, every day, or if not every other day, telling people, look, go and do this, go and do that, get your juice, put on a mask, do what you're told, stand apart, don't meet anyone, don't kiss anyone, don't hug anyone. And it's like, what the heck? Who does the guy think he is? He's all of a sudden an expert on anything to do with pandemics. But as time went on, stuff was coming out about the juice, about what it might have been doing or what it was doing to people. And honestly, from the start, the first few streams that he done, the guy's there, big smile on his face, all good in the hood, happy, good stuff, looking alive, basically. And then as time goes on, the life just drains out of this guy. And to a point where it looks like he's a way to just jump out the window. Because she didn't laugh, but because he was just feeding this BS day in, day out, it actually ate his soul, honestly. And you could see it in his face, in his eyes, the emptiness in his eyes. After about a month of doing these streams, telling people what to do, telling them not to, telling them who they shouldn't go and see, their relatives in hospital, even ones that had been dying, man. Who in the right? No one has the right to tell anybody that, no matter what, especially going by the whole pandemic situation. Honestly, I'm so glad that I never had any family. I'm kind of blessed in that sense. I never had any family in hospital or relatives in care homes or unwell at the time. But honest to God, if someone had tried to stop me from visiting a relative or a sick friend or relative, there would have been big trouble. Honestly, I'm trying not to swear, but there would have been severe trouble, and I'd have been the one probably in prison for it. Which, I mean, hey, so be it. But no one would have been stopping me, man. Honestly, and it boiled my blood to even think about it at the time. It really did. So my heart goes out to people who were in that position. And it was comical on the television. They were talking about, oh, you can get a screen and you can speak to them like they're in a prison, basically. I shouldn't laugh, but a screen with a plastic barrier. Remember, they put them all in the shop as well, different shops and supermarkets. And they've kind of started to take them down now, but some of them they've kept them up. I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but a lot of things they took in, it's not went away. It simply hasn't. And we'll touch on a bit. I want to touch on a bit of the predictive programming, foreshadowing, because I've got a kind of live, living document that I put together, and I used it in the predictive programming stream on contagion that we done. And the stream I done with Mez last weekend, I kind of touched on it a bit. But I also made a document for that where what I done is I compared what happened in 2020 to the whole 9/11 scenario and the comparisons there, the parallels, would that be the word? And as much as they are two different things, the end goal is pretty much the same. And I've not got that document at hand, but in my community tab, you'll find the stream we done on Saturday, and you'll get to see what I'm talking about. So what I'll do is I'll quickly say hello, right? We've got Rel in the hood. Good to see you. We've got Alphabet Cat back again. Good to see you. Just Kate in the hood. Good to see you back, Kate. Toffee's here. Our English brother. Fantastic. James is in the hood. James Johnson. Good to see you. Or do you get called JJ? Or maybe not. We'll go with James, right? Or Jimmy. We'll call you Jimmy for the crack. Sensum's here. Our good friend, our English brother in the hood. Good to see you back again. The backbone of YouTube, of course. There would be no YouTube without that guy. Honestly, I kid you not. Who else did I see? Jemima Puddle Duck in the hood. Good to see you, Jemima. Simon's here, the Woodlander. Make sure you check out Simon's channel. Highly recommend it. Talk about a guy who's switched on, man. Honestly. The Woodlander's a bit like an old wise owl, honestly. Just full of wisdom and knowledge. And I wish I could like carry him about on my shoulder and just ask him any questions that I've got. There's an idea, the Woodlander application for your phone. Ask Woody a question. And yeah, this time next year, right? Millionaires! Who else have we got? Rel in the hood. Jojo Gizmo in the hood. Good to see you. Did I miss someone there? Probably. I think we're all good. Oh, Paul is here as well. Our Irish brother in the hood. Good to see you, Paul. 77th, look out. 77th is about. Shock horror. Good to see you, I think. Carol's here as well. Good to see you, Carol. Prideless Chicks in the hood. Fantastic. Good to see you back again. A great channel as well to check out if you've not checked it out already. Another Irish brother in the hood, Jerry. I've got a bit of news on Ireland. It's in the slideshow, I think. So you might want to look out for that. No longer on the ball. We know that feeling, right? And yeah, I think we pretty much got everyone there. Blaze is in the hood. Good to see you, Blaze. Spanish Chicken in the hood as well. Lucy's here. Good to see you, Lucy. Oh, JJ, I got it right first time. How did I know that? Right, psychic powers that I've got. It's just that I know someone here who's actually got three J's, so it's triple J. They get called, which is quite funny, right? Oh, Tom as well. Good to see you, Tom. And yeah, I think I might have got pretty much the whole squad in the hood. So yeah, there's a lot of talk at the moment due to the. I mean, oh, Suzanne as well. Good to see you, Suzanne. Suzanne and Paul. Another channel that I recommend people check out. And I noticed the chat from last night got removed. So my idea that not so many moderators, I mean, it worked up until a point, but last night it got removed at some point. So someone must have said something very naughty and deemed, I don't know, offensive, probably. I don't think any words are blocked or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, there's been multiple streams I've done now, and YouTube's basically they remove the chat. It's like, nope, no one's getting that. No one gets to see it, right? So yeah, that's the way of it. That's the world we're in. It's their game, the internet. We don't run it. I mean, you'd have to create your whole system of your own instead of like your own website. It would still be scrutinized, watched, and controlled by probably DARPA. Oh, the wonderful, the beautiful Justine in the hood. Good to see you, Justine. Back again. I'm hoping not to go too long tonight. Scotty as well. Good to see you, Scotty, all the way down under. And yeah, a bit mental there at the moment. I've not checked on it lately, but kind of feel it's still a bit of an ongoing situation down in Australia. That's my Aussie accent. Terrible, I know. Hey, don't shoot me. So yeah, I'm unsure where to start. At the beginning is usually a good idea. So I think we'll touch on maybe in the intro that I done. It was from the movie The Day After, a nuclear bomb movie, basically. And there's a lot of talk about nuclear war, nuclear bombs. People saying they don't exist, even, which is, would I rule that out? Probably not, to be honest. I sometimes wonder if I even exist. As I touch myself, that sounds a bit weird, does it? I think I'm definitely here in this physical realm. Let's go with that. But yeah, I can see why people doubt it. I did read it was like some sort of article or paper, I can't remember. And it was probably about 3 years ago now. And it questioned the whole nuclear bomb situation. And I thought, yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, they've definitely got bombs, right? So I don't think we can rule that out, to be honest. Whether or not they've got actual nuclear ones, debatable. I think it's debatable. If the UK's got them, well, they won't work, right? Why is it not working? Made in the UK. Oh, that's why. Made in the UK, it doesn't work. Of course, they've got nuclear bomb, a nuclear trident, I think they call it. here in bonnie Scotland, on the River Clyde. And it's, I mean, it's weird because it's all kind of weird, all kind of messed up. Because you've got Scotland, the nuclear bombs are here in Scotland. All right, so they're Scotland's. Well, no, they're not. All right, so they're Britain's. Well, no, they're kind of not. Right, so they're who then? America's? Well, yeah, kinda. Kinda Britain, kinda America, kinda NATO, if you catch my drift. So they're not Scotland's, they're not England's, they're not Ireland's, they're maybe Americans. And people always say, well, who would push the button? And a lot of sheeple think it would be Joe Biden. I mean, you wouldn't trust Joe Biden to run a bath, never mind have control of a nuclear device. It's an interesting thought as to who would be the one to make the call. It's probably an entity that we don't know, we don't see. The hidden hand, if you like. I don't think we see or know the true people in power. They are not that, I guess, stupid, to be honest. They're not as stupid to put their face to a pandemic like wee Billy Rockefeller. He's not got much control. He's another face. Politicians, they're a face. They're not the ones running the show. I mean, they couldn't. They're hopeless. They're useless, right? They truly are. And there's talk of other nations that have got nuclear bombs. And how long have we been talking about that now? How long has nuclear bombs been about? Way before since I was born. What did we have? Hiroshima. Apart from that, I don't think there's been any. Not that I can think off the top of my head. I don't think there's been any other so-called nuclear events. And as much as I would say, are they real, are they not, is definitely up for debate. One thing I don't think is up for debate is weapons are definitely real. And a lot of people have found that out, unfortunately. And militaries are real. War is a real thing. Even manipulated war, orchestrated war. Many people can die in an orchestrated war. And we'll expand on that a wee bit, hopefully. So I'll take you to, because I mean, I don't want to be another 3.5 hours, but we probably will be, to be honest. Now that I've said that, we're going to be 4 hours probably. What one is it? Not that. It would be that. So this is, let me just shift this back here so I know what I'm doing. Hopefully. So this document is kind of, excuse me, it's an ongoing document that I've kind of adjusted and added to over time, but it will eventually be, I guess, published. And I'll send it to certain individuals, and then I'll put it on the website, which is still there, still going, by the way. And it's back to its full functioning mode, I guess. So you can check it out. Eventually, I'll put it on there, and you can download it for free. And you can put it in a frame and put it on your wall next to a wee photo of me, right, as the author. Sure, why not? So I'll show you. Most of you would have seen we we covered the contagion. So we got into what predictive programming is, what it entails, contagion being probably a great example of it. So we talked a bit about that, and you can find that stream on the channel, and it is still there. A few people did say you're going to have to delete it. You'll get a strike, but I better not. I better not speak too soon, right? So it's still there, and I mean, you are allowed to have an opinion on YouTube, but what you've got to do, going by the guidelines, you've got to give your opinion and then also say but. So say you had an opinion on the juice that was different from the WHO narrative. You can say your part and then say, but the WHO say it's not true. So you know it's true then, right? I mean, we're so blessed having these entities that look out for us: the WHO, NATO, MI6, CIA, the FBI in America. The list goes on, right? We're so blessed. Where would we be without them? Anybody? Anybody want to have a crack at that? The CDC, Justine, yep, indeed. And I think they got mentioned in the movie Contagion, which is interesting because you've got a fictional movie, but it combines fiction with reality. So they talk about the CDC and the WHO, and they actually use a doctor, or seemingly a doctor, a TV doctor, CNN guy. He's in the movie, so he's real, if you like, and the entities are real organizations, but the rest of it is fake, right? But they intertwine it, and that is not by accident. Rest assured. Oh, thanks very much. Sent some. The backbone of YouTube. Good to see you. I'd imagine Sensum at the moment is sitting in the Indian Star table for one, eating a curry. The guy loves his curries, right? I do enjoy a curry from time to time. Probably maybe once, twice a month, if that. Nothing too spicy though. Oh no, not spicy. A wee bit spicy, yeah. What would it be? One pepper spicy, not two or three. I could not. I don't know how people can eat seriously spicy food. It burns the mouth off of me for like a day, and the rest. Right? You don't want to know. So I don't know why people do that, but everybody's different, I guess, right? Um. So yeah, there's quite a bit of similarities between the whole predicting and foreshadowing of the pandemic 2020. There was lots of stuff out there from TV dramas, movies, documents, articles, newspapers, news stories, online, offline, for basically many years. A lot of it stemming from the 1992 Ebola outbreak. So it kind of it's snowballed from there in relation to what could be deemed predictive programming. Then as time went by, we got to 2020, and boy, did they roll it out, man! It was like the circus came into town. All the tents, all the elephants, all the monkeys, the whole lot. When they set up their shop, and then of course they had the testing. I mean, oh man. I need to watch what I'm saying, but it was comical. It really was comical. I'm sure I'd done a stream or a video, and what did I call it? It got a strike. It was basically in relation to the whole 2020 situation being a circus parade, and it got a strike. And thinking back on the testing, I mean, oh, yuck, man. Honestly, even thinking about it, I get the shivers. You know, the thing up the nose, all the way up, right through the brain, basically, by the looks of it. If you had a brain, it was astonishing, man. I remember when I seen it and how long it was. I thought, no way, people are actually doing that, and some people were doing it like twice a day. Honest to God, and there was horror stories came out because one individual in particular, there was talk of a certain barrier got broke and there was damage and leakage. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man. What is it about? What is the need in it? And then I remember one story where someone had to be, they had to get their nose surgically cut open. Well, cut open in surgery. And what happened is it, when they done it, it snapped and it got stuck. I mean, that would freak you out, that, right? Ah, it's gone. It snapped off and now it's disappeared. I mean, it was insane. Do you know what? I drew the line at that as well. It was like, no way. That will not be happening to me, man. That will not be happening to me. They would have to, it would be over my dead body again. And there was not a hope in hell, man. No way. So the predictive programming's there. We touched on it quite a bit. And there was a lot. There is a lot. And it stems all the way through the ages, young people, old people, teenagers. Everyone got to know, everyone got to see, everyone got their dose of foreshadowing and predictive programming. And similar to what you might call a third world war or World War III. But in this case, it is about 10 times as much. The amount of foreshadowing and programming in relation to World War III and nuclear war, if you like, it's insane, man. Completely insane. It is, we'd be here probably 2 nights constant going over it. It is honestly you could write a book on it. Maybe maybe somebody has already. Shouldn't laugh, but the amount of it makes me think that it's only a matter of time before they do come out and say, "Look, by the way, it's World War III." And like I've said before, many people, maybe even including myself, kind of feel that we're already in it. And I guess we're never not in a war because the realist of war is the war on us, the people, all the people in every nation. We're the ones at war against basically the agenda. And that never dies out. It's been going on probably now for hundreds of years. And it's that, I guess, covert. Many people can't even see it, which is astonishing. Many people cannot even see it, man. What war? So when it comes to wars between nations, that's one thing. And yeah, it does happen. It probably will continue to happen. But it will only be for one purpose, to further whatever the agenda is. And I've talked about this sort of technique that I kind of termed the sidewinder technique, where one country will work one part, another country will then take over and work its part, then up the ladder it goes, basically sidewinding up to get to where they want it to be. A bit like, and I've said it before, it's a bit like good cop, bad cop. And of course they both work for the cops, right? The filth, if you like. So they're very smart in how they go about it, how they make it work, how they get to where they want it to be. And a lot of people, they don't fall for it, but a lot of people do. So in relation to World War III, I put a bit on that as well. So predictive programming suggests that mass media, the mass media, the people you can trust, the journalists working for the people. What? So it suggests that mass media, including Hollywood movies, what? Television shows and popular novels are used to shape public what is it? Conscience. I can never say it. So they're used to shape the public's minds, right? And prepare individuals for significant geopolitical events. According to this perspective, these media forms are intentionally designed to acclimate people to the idea of war and global conflict. So they acclimatize you to it, get you used to it. You know about it. It's there. They basically plant the seed time and time again. And what a lot of people point to is that it kind of softens the blow for when it does occur. And we touched on that in the predictive programming with Contagion. So in relation to Hollywood in particular, it's quite staggering. I think there's another movie this year actually that points to a World War III. Shock horror. So I've picked out some of you might know. Doctor Strangelove. Has anybody seen it? How I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. Wow. And directed by, who's this guy here? Stanley Kubrick. Rings a bell. So this classic black comedy is about the Cold War, basically. And it escalates to what they call World War III. Fail Safe. Has anybody seen that one? I think I watched that recently. 1964. Cold War again. Nuclear war between United States and the Soviet Union. The Russians, right? They tend to be the bad guys. Pretty much in every movie that I've seen, the Russians are the bad guy. The day after, Now, you should have seen that because I did share it and it got removed and I uploaded it again in a kind of different format and it's okay, but it's got the adverts in it from from the 80s. So you might want to reminisce and check that out. Again, nuclear war in the day after 1983. Fred's, which is a British television drama, 1984. hmm Nuclear war, shock horror. It's got Michael Jackson in it. Mick Jackson, of course, he's the director. It's not the same Jesus Juice Michael Jackson that some of you might know. Well, I hope you don't know him, to be honest, but maybe you do. It's a small world. So I don't think I've watched Fred's. I think there's multiple episodes. I've maybe seen one or two, but I've not seen them all. The Red Dawn again, 1984. We touched on that in part one or part two. Being over 2 years ago, it's kind of failing my mind, but it's an interesting film. And again, you're talking about America and Russia, and in this movie in particular, the United States gets invaded by the Russians, and there's a scene in it where it's like a school or a college, and they're all sitting there. Then all of a sudden, they're looking out the window, and there's paratroopers coming in, and they're rushing, and they're like, what the heck? What's going on?" So America got invaded by Russia. Some people think that that might be the case this time around. Um, would I rule it out? I wouldn't rule it out, but I can't see it. Um, I kind of feel that this particular war is going to be fought on different levels. It's not going to be like what we've seen previous, for example, one and two, one and two of the World War, if you like. So definitely, Fred's, I reckon, is worth checking out. In Red Dawn, if you've not seen it, let me know if you've seen it. War Games, 1983. Yeah, not one I think I know. The film features a scenario where a young computer hacker unwittingly almost starts World War III by hacking into a military supercomputer. Maybe it rings a bell, actually. Yeah, it rings a bell. Maybe I've heard about it, but I've not seen it. There's a lot of these where it accidentally happens, which is quite interesting. I mean, how can you accidentally start a war? How does that happen? That would be some major accident. That. In what war was it? Was it World War Two, where I think did Germany invade Poland, and it all kind of kicked off from there? But I think in World War One, was it not simply an assassination in Sarajevo, or who was the guy again? I remember just vaguely doing it in history, if it's anything to go by. I'm sure it was a simple. I don't know if that's the right term, but it was simply an assassination of a high political figure. Then it all stemmed from there, and we ended up in World War One. I'm sure. Then I think in part two, Hitler returns. There was obviously the invasion of Poland, and seemingly Hitler fought in World War One. I believe, and then went on to be the leader of the pack in World War Part Two, which is quite interesting. There's a lot of debate about Hitler, who he was, what he really was, what he really done, what he really wanted. But I mean, you would be all day debating that. I think the bottom line is the guy was a politician, so I wouldn't trust any politician or world leader, no matter who they are. That's I see some people today. They put a lot of trust in Vladimir Putin. He's a world leader. He was in the KGB. How anybody could trust that guy? I mean, if people do trust him, then Putin's done his work on them. He's worked his magic. I mean, trusting someone ex KGB, politician, political world leader, World Economic Forum puppet. I don't know how people can go there. I tend to think people think, well, he's better than Boris. So they use that comparison and think that somehow he's a good guy. But I don't know how they could think that Putin was a good guy. I can't see it. I really can't see it. Um, there's too much in the way that would point to him being a bad guy. Way too much. I mean, there's people in Ukraine who think Boris Johnson is a hero. Fucking hell. Honest to God. I remember I was reading an article and it was Ukrainian people and they were talking about how Boris Johnson is a hero for helping Ukraine with your money, by the way. Remember, we all agreed on that. Yeah, let's give all our money to Ukraine. What's next? We give all our money to Israel. And then where are we? Up Shit's Creek. Not to mention the state that our own countries are in. How anybody can have any faith in these political figures is beyond me. Honestly, it's maybe just hope, that their last bit of hope. One of them's got to be good. That's that's the kind of thinking, but hey, there is good people, but they will not make it to the top. No way, man. They simply don't. Good people don't make it. Bad people, very bad people, they make it all the way to the top. But that cracked me up. Boris Johnson, a hero, because he was giving Ukraine money. I mean, yeah, there you go. I mean, I guess people in Ukraine don't know. And if they're getting free money from someone, then yeah, they probably think, oh, he's a good guy, right? And of course, it's our money. It's not coming out of Boris's pocket or the the politician's pocket. No, they'll be fine. Their bank balance will be all right. They'll not be affected by the cost of living crisis. Do you know? I went by what was it? It was Burger King. I went by there the other day, and I had a look at the prices, and I thought, what the heck? Honestly, I could not believe it. I was like, holy moly, man. The prices just now. I just thought, wow. And people pay that? But there you go. And one thing about potential escalation when it comes to war, if we get dragged in, there's going to be big trouble. Big trouble. Right across the board. Potentially blackouts, rationing, heavy supply issues right down the line. So it would be like a domino effect. And a lot of people are going to be left wishing they had pre-planned this event potentially happening. And the way it's going, I reckon we are gonna see it happen, I'm afraid. So War Games, The Sum of All Fears, 2002. United States and Russia, nuclear war again. Tom Clancy, based on a novel by Tom Clancy. Not one that rings a bell. It must have been terrible. Tomorrow, When the War Began. Tomorrow, When the War Began. Directed by Stuart Beattie. Australian film. Maybe the Aussies in the crew have seen it. Fighting against an invading foreign power in Australia. Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar, that, right? I feel like we're all being invaded at the moment. The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951. Though not directly about World War III, this science fiction classic by Robert Wise involves an alien warning humanity to change its ways or face destruction due to its aggressive nature. I'm sure people have heard about this one. Due to its aggressive nature, potentially leading to such a conflict. Right. So the aliens are going to maybe come and sort it all out, right? Hooray! ET's here. And everyone's putting down their weapons now. Yeah, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Interesting name, that. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Independence Day, 1996. Alien invasion, which could potentially escalate into a global conflict. I think everyone's probably seen Independence Day. Again, TV dramas right across the board here. Hollywood, TV, magazines, books, newspapers, you name it. Kids' cartoons. I probably should have dragged that up. Maybe next time. The Man in the High Castle, 2015 to 2019. So quite recent. World War III again, based on a Philip K. Dick's novel. So United States is divided between Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Yeah. Of course, when Germany went, I think it would have been World War II. Or was it one? It was one of them anyway. And what you seen was Germany basically going a bit over the top. And then what? America joined up with Britain, who they once had a war with themselves. And also Russia, a communist entity. And they all got together. So none of that really makes any sense when you sort of stand back and look at it. But they definitely did. Going by the history, Jericho 2006 to 2008. Again, the USA. The Last Ship 2014 to 2018. Occupied 2015 to 2019. A Norwegian political thriller. See how it's stemming right across the world as well? A Norwegian one, an Australian one, American one, a British one. Everyone's getting their their inoculation of uh, World War III propaganda, potentially programming, potentially foreshadowing what may be in the script. Years and years. 2019. Right. Doesn't ring a bell, that. Be too long for me to watch. Into the Badlands. 2015 to 2019. Again, quite recent. The 100. 2014 all the way to 2020. Set in a post-apocalyptic future where Earth has been devastated by nuclear war. This series follows a group of survivors who return to Earth from a space station to assess its habitability. We'll go with that. Right. I mean, that. Where do you start with that? Where would you even start with that one, man? I've not seen it. I might want to check that out. That ran for quite a bit then. Yeah, I don't think I've even heard of it. The 100. You'll see I've put it in bold. Bloody my eyesight is terrible, man. Falling Skies. Huh. 2011 to 2015. Themes of global conflict and the collapse of society after the extraterrestrial threat. I thought E.T. was a good guy. Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Yeah, interesting. So I think that might have been the last one. So quite a few. And that's basically a drop in the ocean. There's the war dramas there. TV dramas. You could probably put Threads into that as well, rather than this section here. But the movies are endless, honestly. That's a selected few that we've got. The Red Dawn is one. We touched on it before. I played a couple of clips from it, and I reckon people might want to check it out, if not already, right? What year did it come out? 1984. Huh. That seems to ring a bell as well. Interesting date. And we'll expand on that in a sec. So I'll take it, we'll go from there to stop screen. Comments. Parker's in the hood. Good to see you, Parker. Patricia, good to see you, Patricia. Hope you're doing well. Chilster in the hood. Bry's here as well. Good to see you, Bry. Rory in the hood. The poshest dude you would ever meet, honestly. Probably related to royalty. No, I shouldn't tell people that, right? Kate's here as well. Good to see you, Kate. And thank you for the continued engagement. So yeah, we're still going. We're still cooking. We've got people right across the board. So good to have everyone in. The best place to engage would probably be on the YouTube side of it, even though the chat will probably get removed by the thought police, right? Keeping you safe. Yeah. Like safe and effective. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Safe and effective, right? Sure. Why not? It's 2024. Let's go with that. So good to see everyone. I better take the comments away. Otherwise, it'll be there the whole time. And no one's going to see anything. I've done that before. Yeah, I think we'll jump now to Albert Pike. A satanic monster. if there ever was one, man. Honestly, I hate even kind of referring to this guy. I'm kind of haunted by the ghost of Albert Pike, and yeah, not a good guy, I'm afraid. And if you've read the book Morals and Dogma, you'll know what I'm talking about. But these, when it comes to these entities as well, it's like they speak in code, so it can be interpreted in different ways, and no one's really sure what way it's meant to be. So it's like, well, take your pick, right? Rags is here as well. Yeah, we might have had a Wi-Fi issue at one point there. My computer said there was an issue. The weather is quite bad at the moment, so I'm putting it down to that rather than the 77th Brigade. But take your pick, right? So yeah, it's quite a stormy, windy, typical Scottish night. One of these days, I'm just gonna build a boat and do what the immigrants have done. Only I'm going to the Caribbean, right? Maybe not a good idea. I think the place I'd be going is to see the guy 9/11 revisionist in South Africa. That might be where I end up eventually. And I'm unsure what the gun laws are in South Africa. I'm hoping you can carry, because I'd certainly be carrying. And it's a pity you can't hear, to be honest. There's a lot of mixed views on gun law, and it's understandable as well, but I kind of feel you should have the right to carry a weapon for self-defense, not for simply just going on a mad spree. I mean, if you think about the situation in Australia, if people were carrying there, the guy would have been finished straight away. How many people died? 6 people. There's no way he would have killed 6 people if people had their own weapons. The guy would have got shot straight away. The situation with the priest, I don't know if you could have stopped that. Maybe the priest, if he was, he might have been able to, if he was carrying. I shouldn't laugh, but I mean, there's always going to be people. If someone wants to create an issue and go out on a rampage, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter if they can get a gun or can't get a gun. They'll find a way to do it. But I reckon yeah, there's been numerous situations in the past where if certain individuals did carry a weapon, that these situations would not be as bad. I doubt they would ever release or relax any gun laws in the UK. Of course, even the air rifles got banned here. I mean, an air rifle. How many times would you have to shoot somebody with an air rifle? Maybe if you had an infected pellet with, I don't know, some sort of toxin, that might do the trick. Probably should watch what I'm saying. It'd be giving people ideas, right? But yeah, I doubt they'll ever relax it, because people, yeah, you know what people would do? They'd turn it on the people who need it. That's why it'll never be relaxed. Because people would, yeah, they would be in for a big shock, I think. So let me see if I can share the screen. Share. What one is it again? Does anybody know? We're going to go to Albert Pike. So I kind of put this together and I've took it from, well, directly from the book Morals and Dogma by Albert the Pike E. We'll go with that. And there's an image from it. You kind of don't get any more Masonic than Albert Pike. There was a statue of him in America somewhere. It got pulled down. Remember, remember when there was people were trying to delete history by pulling down a statue. They were trying to basically rewrite history by taking down statues. Like you could ever change the past. You can't. It wouldn't matter how many statues you took down. It's still the past. And I think there was slave traders and certain political figures that got ripped down by probably Antifa rent-a-crowd. And it was a bit like they were trying to delete history, which is kind of fitting because I done a video called Freemasons Destroy and Rewrite History. And they kind of do when you look into them in great depth. So let me just get that out the way. So that's down at the lodge, right? The checkered floor, which if you had a sharp eye, you would have seen that yesterday in the royal family video, the intro. I think either in the Westminster Palace or one of their hideouts, there's a gigantic Masonic floor. And I noticed tonight as well, the UN Council are they're hosting a meeting in their lodge. And if you look at the layout of the UN Council inside the building, it's a big, gigantic, all-seeing eye. I mean, hey, I shouldn't laugh, but talk about in your face, man. Absolutely in your face. Honestly, look it up. The UN Council building, inside of it, it's a gigantic all-seeing eye in the layout, the way it's laid out. And I mean, that's not by accident. Come on. No way. No, just not a chance, man. All deliberate, of course. So, has anybody read the book Morals and Dogma? I'm still kind of. I think I'm about halfway through it, and it's a tough read. It's tough, man. It's tough in many ways for many reasons to read it, and it's one of these books where it makes me angry. It's not good for the blood pressure, right? So, Morals and Dogma, written by Albert the Masonic Satanic Pike. Do we know what a pike is? A prominent figure in Freemasonry in the United States during the 19th century. Pike was a lawyer, writer, and philosopher who served as a sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Rites Southern jurisdiction from 1859 until his death in 1891. The book Morals and Dogma is a comprehensive tome that explores various philosophical, moral, and symbolic aspects of Freemasonry. Published 1871. philosophical, moral, and symbolic aspects of Freemasonry. When it does, it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure in the Masonic lodges, it's like the first book you'll get. Here, read that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And most Masons probably just throw it away or throw it to the, well, yeah, I'll read it another time. But the hardcore, psychotic, the ones who want to climb the Masonic ladder, they'll probably read it again, and read it again. And there's a lot to it. It's like in the sense of, from a Masonic stance, a Freemason stance, it would be like a blueprint to what to expect in the Masonic order. And I reckon most hardcore Freemasons definitely read this and get some kind of kick from it, probably. Whereas when I read it, it's like, oh, man, frustrating. So I wanted to point out there's quotes relating to war that I thought was interesting. And I wanted to point out a few of them. So, quotes from Albert Pike. I mean, when did it get published? 71. He must have been writing it for about 10 years. Honest to God. Thinking back to then. And what would maybe he was, would he have been handwriting it by hand? It must have took a while, honestly. So, quote, war is the work of man. War is glory. War is the noblest and grandest of all human utterances. It is the grandest of all the victories, the purest of all the acts of man. Wow. If it has an object, if there is a noble aim in human strife, it is legitimate, it is just, and it is divine. War. Divine. Legitimate. If it's got an aim in human strife, who would be in the right position to make such a decision? Nobody, no man should be. To kill many, many, many innocent people for what they believe is achieving, is divine, is their objective, is a benefit of humanity. Divine. I mean, this is why I get annoyed with it. I'm like, divine! How is it divine? How is it the grandest of acts by the purest of all acts by man? So you can see what I mean by people tend to interpret it in different ways. It's like kind of like a riddle, basically. So another quote. It is a part of the destiny of the human race. What? In its gradual improvement, to leave off fighting, to reconcile its differences, and live in peace. Eh? Live in peace by creating war. Right. War has been the condition of progress, of national growth, and of the civilization of the world. So let's hear that one again. Let me try and highlight. Can I even do that? Quite staggering. It is a part of the destiny of the human race. It is in its gradual improvement, excuse me, to leave off fighting, to reconcile its differences and live in peace. When has there ever been peace? War has been the condition of progress, of national growth, and of the civilization of the world. The civilization of the world. Progress. Right. The nations will gather. Another quote here. The nations will gather to battle, but no battle will be fought. There will be the war of opinion, the battle of principles and ideas. And from this struggle will proceed a better and a purer order of things. Close quote. The nations will gather to battle, but no battle will be fought. There will be the war of opinion, the battle of principles and ideas, and from this struggle will proceed a better and purer order of things. Order of things. Maybe we should have called it that. The order of things. What could that mean? I mean, if this was to be the case, right? Think about this. How many wars have we had? Are we now in peace? Is the world now a better place? Are we are we now in a justified position as a world civilization? Or is it the opposite? If war's the answer, why are we now heading into the third? Why did we not achieve it with one? Never mind two. In all the other continuous wars that go on day in, day out. To what exactly? To what benefit of humanity? Are we really in a better position today? I'll let you decide that. So, another quote here. But no warfare between nations or between man and man is as dreadful as its consequences as the silent, unreported, slow, moral, social, and physical war that is ever waged by the selfish, ambitious, and heartless upon the unfortunate, the friendless, and the poor. So the war on the people, basically, by those who are selfish or ambitious For what? Their own gain? Certainly not our gain. Put it that put it that way. And of course, who loses out? The common man loses out. Where do we get? Nowhere. Where do the selfish, the greedy, where do they get? The millionaires, the billionaires. Do you think they're ever affected by war? I doubt it. Well, they are. Their bank balance is affected. It goes up and up and up. While people like us struggle in many aspects. So again, how is war the answer for the people? Oh, but if we just have one more war, is it going to be fixed then? Are we going to see the world go through a third world war and then be even worse than we are today? And then people say, oh, but if we just have one more war, so what, a fourth world war? And then what, we're going to be better off again? It's a bit like an election. Oh, but yeah, if we vote out these guys and put this guy in, it'll be better. And look where that's gotten us. In a bad way. So there's a passage of interest that I want to share. It's not really war related, but it's interesting. So what we'll do is we'll come back to it at the end, and I'll take you to a bit more up to date. And the next time we do the New World Order, I've got more quotes from Pike. I can only take so much. I can only take so much in it, and it's quite. It's hard for me to describe the book. It's intriguing, and it's kind of like there's good things in it and bad things in it. So it's like a game of two halves in it. On one hand, he's telling people to be good. On the other hand, he's telling them to be bad, which is kind of like I guess, Freemasonry in a nutshell. Because you'll probably have Masons that are good people, but there's the other side of the coin. A lot of them are bad people, but the bottom line is they don't see themselves as how we do. They feel or believe that they are somehow a cut above me and you. Hence why they can walk into a courtroom and walk back out. Whereas when it's one of us, we walk in and we don't walk back out. We go out the side door in handcuffs. Speaking from experience, well, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, to be honest. We won't get into that, but yeah, they somehow feel they're a cut above the average Joe. And if you've ever dealt with Masons, you'll know what I'm talking about. I know a guy who said his uncle, his friend's uncle or his friend's dad was quite high in the Masons, and he used to say to the lad, "Look, Masons run the world." When this is going back a good bit now, and he was right. They do. The secret societies and the occult, they do run the world to a big extent. And I've mentioned before, there's a right across from the courtroom here in Elgin is a Masonic lodge. right across from it. And fitting that Albert Pike used to be a lawyer because in the same building is the lawyers' building. Excuse me. So you've got the Masonic Lodge, the lawyers, and right across the road, you've got the main council building and the court, all in very close proximity. And in the actual close that the lodge is in, they managed to get the name of it changed, and it's now called Masonic Close. And I've took a photo of it. I posted it before. I might have even done a video. Some of you might remember it. So the lodge got the council to change the name of a street, basically, to Masonic Close. Now, who do you know out there that could get a street name changed? Nobody, man. None of us could. Even if we were probably somehow heroes and saved a life, they still probably wouldn't do it. But when you're in the brotherhood like that, at their request, they changed it to Masonic Close. And it's still there today. And you can even see, like, the sign, it must have been called something. Well, before it was called Masonic Close because the lodge moved in, then they changed the name. But you could still see the sign behind the sign, street sign. You can tell there's been a longer sign there. And it's like, yeah. And then they've even got a pillar that would, I guess, stop traffic from going down this kind of open, ancient close. And there's a pillar with a Masonic emblem on the top of it. The compass, I think, in a circle. And when it comes to, I guess, all things Masonic, Elgin is steeped in it, man. Steeped. Up to its neck in it. This is an ancient town here. And it goes way back. Way, way back. And Masons have been here from the beginning. Probably built the place, man. And they're still here today. It still goes on. A lot of people dismissed, oh, well, yeah, it was a man's club back in the day and they don't have control anymore. Geese peace, man. Really? Honestly? Look around you, man. Look into the world that we're in. Do a bit of studying on these entities and you'll understand they ain't going away. They've never went away. And they probably never will go away. And they do wield serious power. Obviously, the higher you get in the ranks, the more sway that you've got. And I think a lot of people get attracted to it, businessmen who think, oh, yeah, I'll expand my business by joining. And they kind of leave it at that. But the people who know a bit more about it, they're the ones who will probably progress, go up the Masonic ladder, climb it to the top. And in their mind, they probably want to be the next Albert Pike. I mean, how anybody's mind could be in that position is beyond me. You'd have to be some sort of psycho, complete psycho. You'd have to be going against the common man for your own gain. And you see that a lot in business. So you can see why they end up in that position. When it comes to the police force, oh man, probably none of them are not connected. There's probably not one who is connected to a Masonic lodge. The police are like an ideal candidate because they don't care about the common man. They lock you up and walk away. They'll kidnap you, and if they probably could, throw away the key, and then sleep at night like a baby, like nothing even happened. They're a different frame of mind, man. They're like a different breed. A completely different breed. My dad used to say it takes all sorts to make the world go round. Mm, I guess it does. But for me, doing the right thing is the way to go. And destroying people for your own gain is not a good way to go, in my own view. Not innocent people. But when you're a psychotic, I kind of want to say narcissist, but that wouldn't cut it. You know how you get these psychopaths in business? They'll do anything to get to the top. Anything, man. They'll backstab anybody to get to where they want to be. That's the kind of person that'll climb the Masonic ladder, and you'll spot them a mile away. You'll sense them. You'll probably smell them, man. To be honest, they're a different kettle of fish completely from the likes of me or you. So I'll take you to a couple of slides. Stop screen, share screen. Can I share it? Is it gonna work? So, can anybody tell me where this? Let me double check. It's to tell me where I got this quote. Someone's gonna know, surely. We're wasted. We're wasted here. I can guarantee someone's gonna get it. I'll give you a clue, right? It's a clue. It's a quote from a book. Simon got it. There you go. The Woodlander on the money. The check is in the post, right? Now, more people should have got that. You'll be kicking yourself now. I was going to guess 1984. I should have went for it, right? So the Woodlander, you win tonight. Bang on the money there. I thought a lot of people would have thought, yeah, that's 1984, right? By Eric Blair. Of course, George Orwell is a pseudonym. So a fictitious or fictional name. It's not his real name. His real name is Eric Blair. So if you're ever researching George Orwell, instead of putting George, you might want to put Eric Blair. And unfortunately, Orwell was not your average dude. And he was cut from a certain cloth, if you like. With a family, with a military and police background. And I would put my money on it, most likely part of the Masonic order, I'm afraid. There's been talk of the Fabian Society. Do we know who they are? Do we know what the Fabian Society have got on their logo, their crest? Richard's been doing some real-time research. Make sure this guy's not lying. Oh, he's telling the truth, right? Yeah, there you go. Do you know what? One of my brothers actually stays in a flat in Masonic Close. Exposed, exposed now. So there's like a wee close with buildings, and then down below that, there's a two blocks of flats called Northport. Then across from that, you've got a row of flats, wee flats, and it's called Masonic Close. And every time I go and visit my brother, who I went to see yesterday, it's in my face constantly. And it was actually his birthday yesterday, 39. So last year of being in his 30s, I might have mentioned yesterday. So I was round seeing him for his 39th, and then bought him a card and took him his lunch, which is about as good as he's going to get from me. But hey, he was happy enough with that. And yeah, it's there. You can check it out on Google Earth or Google Street, Masonic Close, Elgin. And there might even be a photo of the pillar. And in the same building, there's a solicitors, lawyers company who are basically the main lawyer for the court. So when it comes to lawyers, prosecutors, like the PF, the lawyers for, lawyers against, the judge, they're all in the same boat. They're all in the same club. And what they do in courts as well is they make up a deal, like in the back room. Oh, right. If you get him to plead guilty to this, that, or that, we'll let him off with that. So they cut a deal without you being involved. You've just got to either accept or not accept. So they're all in it together. Kind of wish they weren't, but they are. So yeah, you can check it out on Goggle and see what I'm talking about. Of course, I wouldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up, I don't think. Yeah, it's steeped. I'm sure I'd covered it before, but there's quite a few Masonic lodges here. Some of them are disused now, but they've still got the crests and the emblems, going back hundreds of years now. The first one, I think it's from like the 1600s, 1700s, 1700s, I think. And it was above a bank, right above it. Of course, the bankers as well, if we can call them that. I mean, right above a bank. Of course, yeah, that would make sense. If that doesn't tell you anything, I guess nothing would, right? So, Eric Blair, aka George Orwell, and I took this quote from the book. Since the beginning of your life, since the beginning of the party, since the beginning of history, the war has continued without a break, always the same war. Without a break, always continued. Why is it not working? There we go. And you know, I picked this out because that's the world we're in. Since any party was formed, since the beginning of anybody's life, since the beginning of our history, we've been a target in a continued war against the people, whether you be Iranian, Pakistani, Afghanistani, American, Canadian, Australian, Chinese, Russian. The true war is against the people. Each and every one of us, man. And in my own view, history tells you that. So at the moment, and you could call it predictive programming, you could call it foreshadowing, conditioning. All you'd have to do is type in World War III into search engines, and then a tsunami of articles pointing to, and I picked out a few, pointing to this one, Times of India. Are we on the brink of World War III? Dun, dun, dun. This came out yesterday. Are we on the brink of World War III? Third time lucky, right? Yay! This time, it's gonna we're gonna do it this time. It's gonna work this time. Are we on the brink of World War III? What do people think? Are we already there? So India, which is now the most populated country in the world, by the way. I don't know how they're all bloody leaving. Interesting. There's like a tsunami of articles and with a similar headline. The week, 2 hours ago, I got this last night. Are we heading for World War III? And there's Putin and oh, what's his name? The wee Korean dude. And Jing or Ping Pong. I can't remember his name. The Chinese guy. You've got Ping Pong and Rocket Man, and then Big Vlad, the cowboy, riding horses naked in the outbacks of Siberia. Ugh, what a thought, right? What a horrid thought that would, yeah, give you nightmares, that shit, man. I think that them three individuals are what basically I would describe as the highest of criminals you could ever imagine. Rocket Man, Ping Pong, and Vlad the Lad. I dread to think of the atrocities these selfish individuals have done to get to where they are, to stay where they are. So are we heading for World War III? Anybody want to take a swing at that? Answers in a postcard. USA Today, yesterday. World War III fears loom. It's looming in the background. It's looming right above your head. World War III fears loom for voters in 2024 amid Iran-Israel clashes. So, yeah, is it going to be a campaign? What's the word? Is it going to be used by the political wannabes? Oh, we'll go to war. Oh, we won't go to war. Oh, we will. We won't. Who are you going to vote for? Chances are it wouldn't matter we'd probably still go to war. Um, when is the election in America? I think there's one in the UK. Interesting times that we're in. I think we've got Wi-Fi trouble again. Um, bloody frustrating that, because there's not much I can do when the Wi-Fi decides, no, you've said enough today. You've said too much. You've took it too far. You crossed the line. So, I mean, I've picked out these ones, but they're everywhere. And it's to such an extent, it's a bit like conditioning or pre-programming, predictive programming. Does anybody know who this dude is? I'm sure we all know, and I did kind of covered it. I'm sure we all know the guy, the entity, the myth, maybe, of Nostradamus. Are we going to call him that? I can't even pronounce his name. The guy Nostradamus, right? Who seemingly predicted we'd be World War III in 2024. And he's predicted quite a few things that seem to have happened. On the other hand, he predicted a lot of things that never happened. So I guess if you throw enough shit, some of it'll stick. So if you write a book of 10 million predictions, a few of them will come true in time. And then 100 years from now, look, that book that Justine wrote, she predicted this was going to happen, right? So you could say that. You could also say, well, what did the guy write? A blueprint? A blueprint for the powers that be? I mean, when was it that Nostradamus writ his what did they call them again? I can't remember what they called them. There's a certain name for them. Not predictions, but not poems, not scripture. It's failing me. We'll say it's late, right? It's late. But yeah, he predicted seemingly we'd be World War III, third time lucky, 2024. Because war's great and it makes the world a better place, right? So who are we looking at here? Does nobody know who she is? Someone's bound to have heard of her. Quite an interesting character, very similar to Nostradamus. Very similar. Not maybe in looks, but in the way of predicting many, many things. Some of it coming true, some of it not coming true. Prophecies, yeah, you could call it that. Again, that's not the word. Heretic is that what it might be that. There's a certain word for it. I won't sleep now. I'm going to be up all night. What is that fucking word? And then 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up. That's it. Quick, go on live. By the way, I remember the word. Right, cool. See you later. Mystic Meg. No, I don't think it's Mystic Meg. It's not Mystic Meg. I'm going to have to put you out of your misery. I don't think anybody knows who she is. She's not about today. It's not. It's not the man himself. Although I don't think there is any. I don't think the camera was invented. You only get drawings of Nostradamus, so Nani Damus. No, it's not her either. Uh, but quite interesting because do we know what fighter jet that is? Someone might know. In fact, was it last night or the night? But a bloody strange sky last night, in a gigantic moon ring. When I went to walk the dog after the stream, it was quite incredible. It was gigantic, the biggest moon ring I'd ever seen. Insert joke. Honestly, I was like, holy moly. I sort of caught the side of it and I thought, is that part of a moon ring? And then stood back a bit and looked and it was gigantic. And then there was these weird stripes across the sky. There was like two black stripes and then like cloud stripes, big lines going right across the sky. And I mean, I did try and take a video, but you can't see anything. But it was really weird. But the night before, I think, quite high activity here with the aeroplanes coming from the military camp. So it's quite common here, but not so common very late at night. Usually they stick to a bit of a schedule, right? So it was, yeah, it was interesting. I feel like it's kind of heating up in the war theatre. So this little old lady who's actually not got any eyes, going by what I read, is Baba Vanga. Oh, I was going to say that. A blind psychic who supposedly predicted 9/11 and the COVID-19 pandemic. Also made a chilling World War III prediction, which has resurfaced as tensions between Iran and Israel escalate. Huh. Baba Vanga, who died 27 years ago in 1996, was a Bulgarian prophetess who became a cult figure among conspiracy theorists after some of her pronouncements proved eerily true. So what? She predicted 9/11, COVID, the whole pandemic, and possibly World War III. Right. And yet she was blind. Quite quite an achievement that, right? You can't even see anything. Vanga grew up on a farm in what is now Macedonia and became blind after being dragged into a tornado when she was young, with believers saying this freak accident was what gave her a second sight. Wow, dragged into a tornado. I mean, I've been in some bad weather. I've been in a couple of storms, many storms, including in the North Sea. But to be dragged into a tornado, how would you even survive that? Would it not soak you up and throw you like 100 miles from here? I mean, I struggle to see how you. I don't think you'd even be able to breathe in a tornado if it got a hold of you. Is there anyone out there who has been in a tornado and survived it and can tell the tale? Maybe there is, but yeah, interesting story. soaked up by a tornado, ripped her eyes out, and then put her back down with a second sight. Hmm. Mhm. According to the Mystic, 2024 will reportedly bring a host of dark events, including terrorist attacks in Europe, biological attacks, and World War III. And as tensions rise in the Middle East, some of them seem eerily plausible. Dark events. Yeah, I mean, we're in April. She's pretty much called it already. Just World War III to come. It is claimed that during her 50-year career, a career, she also predicted the coronavirus pandemic, Chernobyl disaster in Ukraine in 1986, and the death of Princess Diana in 1997. The psychic reportedly predicted the COVID outbreak years ago when she warned, quote, the corona will be all over us, close quote. Is that predicting the pandemic though? The corona of what? The sun? Is that what she was meaning? Was she specifically meaning something else? I guess that could be up for debate. The corona will be all over us. Debatable, right? In 1989, she reportedly said of the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center, horror, horror! The American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush, and innocent blood will be gushing. Wow. That's quite an interesting one, that, right? I mean, where do you start with that? The world, horror, horror. The American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush. Innocent blood will be gushing. Yikes. I mean, the American brethren, I find that quite astonishing. And you might think, well, how is that the Twin Towers? But let's not forget, David and Nelson built the Twin Towers. The Rockefeller brothers. And before they got named the North and South Tower, they were going to be named David and Nelson. The wolves will be howling in a bush, which kind of makes you think, well, what, George Bush? I mean, how did she predict that in 1989? And I wonder how these visions came to her. Did they come as a vision, or did she just decide to write it down one day after a weird dream she had? I'm unsure. I find that quite staggering. Baba also correctly predicted that the 44th US president, Barack Obama, would be the first to be black. Although she did not say he wouldn't be the very last. Great. So, I mean, yeah, that's quite interesting. If she said the 44th one will be black. I mean, I think without putting a number, anybody could have predicted that eventually there's going to be a black president in America. And is Obama even black? He looks more like he's from Afghanistan. Do we call people from Afghanistan black? I don't think we do. I've seen blacker Scottish men, true Scottish Scottish men. Very debatable, the guy Obama, right? Obama. Of course, he's got a fake birth certificate, and it got debunked by two sheriffs working apart. So they sent it to one, sent it to another, and said, "Can you tell us if it's fake?" And they both came back and said, "Yeah, it's fake. It's forged." What they had done is actually took someone else's birth certificate that they could trace, then they printed on top of it Barack Obama's details. And it was so shoddy, worse than even Kate's photoshopping. And it was that bad. There was 9 clear points of fraudulent activity. 9 on Barack Obama's birth certificate. So if you're under the illusion that people who are not American can be president, there's already been, and there might even be, I don't know if you can get away with saying Biden's not American, but I'm sorry, Barack Obama was not an American. No way, man. Just simply not. I don't know where he's from or what he is, but he's not American. Otherwise, he would have shown them an American birth certificate that was not fake. But it was definitely fake. And all that came out. All of that came out in the open, man. And what happened? Nothing happened. Not a thing. And maybe even he'll be back again, the satanic monster that he is. So, sticking with Wagner, she even terrifyingly once claimed in 1979, in a 1979 interview, that Russia was to dominate the world, and that President Vlad the Lad is to become, quote, Lord of the world, close quote. Yeah. So that would make a few people happy, that, right? Do you think the world would be great then if Vlad the Lad got control of it, got at the helm of the world? I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, seemingly my wife said, so it must be true. So, look at that. Wow. Amazing what you can do with some chemtrails. You know that conspiracy theory? Chemtrails? Yeah. We'll be touching on them next week in the Dubai situation and geoengineering as a whole. Of course, it's never been a conspiracy theory. It's always been true. People just don't look into it. A lot of people, they won't look past their nose. They won't look up either. Although, I think in Europe and certain parts of America, the chemtrailing is next level stuff. It's not in every part of the world. It's not as bad. But here in particular, the UK and Europe, it is horrendous, man. And to an extent where some people from maybe Australia, uh, Southern America, possibly Mexico, they genuinely would not believe how bad it is here. And to some people now, it's normal. Well, it's the contrails. Sit down, it's a conspiracy theory. It's condensed water. It's ice crystals. Ah, man. I don't know. When are people going to wake up? Eh? And smell the chemtrail coffee, even. See, a lot of people, they've not got the spine to see what's there. Even though in the back of their mind they know it, they don't want to put themselves out there as being potentially labeled a conspiracy theorist. And remember when we covered the meeting from, where was it from? Arizona in 2014. That was quite interesting in many, many ways. But it was quite funny when one of the residents stood up at the end and he said, "Look, I moved here in, I don't know, 92, and one of the neighbours used to bang on about chemtrails, and they all thought he was mental, and they called him Jet Poop Bob." So he was like this local conspiracy dude who people, I don't know, I guess maybe looked down upon, like they maybe wanted to put him in a straitjacket. Oh, he's talking about the chemtrails again. And the guy was new to the area, but he said within, I think, a couple of years, he began to realise that Jet Poop Bob was on the money. And then he began to question it. After seeing it with his own eyes, he was like, yikes, this is bad. This is not right. This is not normal. This is not natural. This is not water. Far from it. I mean, it's comic. The stuff they tried to use to debunk it is quite comical. But for about maybe, well, I mean, what would be 2024? You're talking 15 years now. 16, 17 maybe. Quite a few people here have been saying, look, it's not right. These chemtrails, it's not a conspiracy theory. And do you know what's a clear indication that it's not? When they come out, the powers that be, and try to debunk it. That's all you need to know. That is all you need to know, man. If the government come out and tell you anything, don't buy it. Don't fall for it, man. Look at what they've done. Look at history. Believe your gut. Believe your own being. Believe what you see when you're out. Go with your gut instinct. Not the politician who jumps on the telly and says, oh, by the way, chemtrails are a conspiracy theory and no one manipulates the weather, blah, 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 ice crystals, blah, blah, blah. Don't buy it. Don't be part of the herd and get led off a cliff into the pool of deception. Don't be that guy, man. Don't be that person. You go with what you believe. And I'm telling you now, if you watch enough of them, you will not believe that it's water or ice crystals. It simply is not. I mean, the amount of times now I've looked at them and followed them and watched them continuously, watched them, recorded them, came back out to check on them. if anybody was to walk up to me and tell me that it was simply ice crystals, they would be getting decked. Honest to God, they would be getting flattened, man. They would be walking away, if they're lucky, with a broken nose. Maybe that's a bit far. They would be getting a telling, at least. And I thought this was a fitting image in relation to the Olympics this year. Now, when I done part 2 years ago, we talked about the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. And I'll play a bit because I'll show you. Many people would have not seen it, but it was quite insane what they were doing. The symbology. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. In this year, we've got the Paris Olympics. And let me see if I can double check here. Yeah. So we've got the Olympics in Paris. And what number is it going to be? What number of Olympics are we on? Anybody want to take a crack at that? Let me see the comments. Where is it? There it goes. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Who's been counting? What are we on now? We was on 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, indeed. This will be the 33rd Olympic Games in Paris, rooted in Illuminati. Rooted, man. I think France is kind of put down as the birthplace of, I think, even the Knights Templar, back that far, who got annihilated, right? They're not here anymore. So we're on the 33rd. We're on the 33rd Olympic Games. It's fitting, right? It's all very fitting indeed. Sandwich bar on the money. Great stuff. Oh, Paul from Newcastle. Good to see you. Oh, is it? I never knew that. Interesting. Yeah, I should have guessed. I should have guessed, to be honest. 0033 France phone code. Wow. There you go. And is it the third time in Paris? Yeah. I think it might be. I knew it was maybe the second, but yeah, maybe it's the third. I knew there was one before. We did kind of look into it a wee bit, I think, towards the end of last year. But we'll definitely be looking into it a wee bit more. So good to see you, Bri, Paul, as well. And thanks for joining on the 9/11 stream. Nathan in the hood, good to see you, Nathan. We're still going. Julia, good to see you, Julia. Blaze, Nathan, Rory, still going strong. Good stuff. So we're still rolling. What's my dog's now entered the frame? He's licking his sore paw. Yeah, it's healing all right. So I don't think it's in any danger of infection or anything like that. I was tempted to maybe put a bandage on it, but I don't know. I just never wanted to. He'd rip it off anyway and probably eat it. Wouldn't you? He would eat it, man. Knowing that bloody monster. So we're into the 33rd, and look at that, the phone code 33. Classic. Good one, Paul. And what I want to do is I'll take you to part 2, and I'll play a bit of that, and then we'll regroup, and I've got a few more slides to show, and I'm hoping we're going to be wrapping it up in about half an hour or so. I shouldn't say that. I just shouldn't say anything. It'll be done when it's done, right? So we'll come back to the slides in a sec. Let me see if I can. Do I need to remove that? Yeah, stop screen, share screen, present. And we're kind of, I think we start 3/4 of the way through. Again, that was a 3-hour stream. And this is the Winter Olympics of, well, it would have been what? I think it might actually have been in 2021. I mean, this came out in 2022, but I think it was maybe, well, I don't know. Does it stem over 20? I think it is 2022 actually, from like February till March, maybe, or January till February. And it's failing me where it was. I think it might have been Japan. Does anyone know this city? I think it was in Japan. We're going to go with Japan for the time being. And it looks a bit all utopian, smart worldy when you look at that. This is actually, look, live chat not available. Got removed. Shock horror. And it's actually, I mean, you could say my most viewed stream is the stream that me and Sensum done with Bart Sibrel, because Bart uploaded it and it's got probably, I've not checked, but when I last seen it, it was like 11,000 views. So you could say that's probably my most viewed bit of content. Probably it will be the most viewed ever content, which is fine enough. But in terms of streams that on my channel, this would be, I think, the most viewed. Going back, came out in March. And it got, see, there's the New World Order context box. It's a conspiracy theory. You know you're on the right track there, right? So it's had quite a bit, but it's almost on 2,000 views. And we did cover quite a lot, and it was quite interesting. Why is that not working? And yeah, I can see why it got quite a lot of views with the stuff that's contained within it, and it's still getting viewed today. And I can see why. I mean, it's not even because of me. It's because of the stuff that we cover. To an extent, I'm irrelevant. I'm irrelevant. I'm just the messenger. So we'll play. I think it's not even maybe 5. Could be a bit over 5 minutes, and then we'll recap. So you want to be listening. You want to be looking, right? Is it on mute? Yeah. Put the volume up. And I'm pretty sure it's in the right place. Fingers crossed. So I'll put me onto mute. We'll play it. And then we'll kind of recap on what's been said. Remember, this came out, we done this 2 years ago. The second part of the new war order. And we're now into the third part, 2024. So yeah, I'll put me onto mute and then we'll roll it, right? We'll go with it. So here it goes. So it was in Beijing, the Beijing Winter Olympics, all very fancy, right? This is from the opening ceremony. They're all walking out. Hello, waving. I'm on the telly, mum. Waving to the crowd. The whole 10 of the people that went. in a big massive stadium that's empty practically. They probably paid people to go, I would imagine. To be honest, I don't think you could pay me to go to these Olympic ceremonies. But what have we got? Straight off the bat, what do we have on the floor? Can anyone see it? You might not be able to see it actually. But I mean, what they walked out on was basically a Masonic chessboard, a Masonic walkway. That's the only way I can describe it. You couldn't have got a floor that was any more Masonic. It was like the floor of Solomon's temple. And of course it had the cross, right? It's almost like a cross with a cross in a rose, all very fitting. Of course, that would be a coincidence if you believe in coincidence, that is. Wow, we've had lots of comments. I never realized how many we had. I've not checked in a bit. I'm very grateful to everyone for the comments. Now, before I have a look at the comments, just to make sure we're all right, does this remind anyone of anything? Apart from a star, of course, right? Apart from the obvious star. Remember at the very start of this, we started with the star on the floor of the entrance to the Masonic temple in England, the Grand Lodge. Yeah, here we are at another star. But it reminded me instantly as soon as I seen this. It reminded me of something. Now, I'm kind of wondering if it's only me. Is it only me that's thinking this? I'm unsure. Um, yeah, a snowflake, yeah, but a virus, yeah, well, maybe actually, yeah. Convid. It could be Convid, right? I was thinking more of an instrument that's been in the news quite a lot lately or recent. I don't know if that's going to help anybody. Cartoon, yeah. Um, I don't think. I think it's only me. It's Disease X, yeah. We might get into Disease X again. We've touched on that. I think it was about 2 years ago. The documents that talked about Disease X, because we asked the question, is it the Convid? I don't think they've rolled it out yet. The Disease X. Is that the next one? Is it going to be a bio war that we enter? Are we going to be dragged down that road? A bio, World War III, electrical, EMPs, weather, warfare, even? Like we keep saying, people need to start getting prepped. Only you know what you're going to need to survive if shit hits the fan, i.e., no electric, no energy, no shop to get your groceries, no shop to get your food, no shop to get your messages, no shop to get your tobacco, no shop to get your alcohol, whatever it may be that floats your boat. Medication wise, if you're dependent on medication, it might be a good idea to keep I mean, in my own personal opinion, it's a good idea to keep a week's supply anyway, backup for any medication that you might need regular. Hopefully you don't. But my eldest son, he's diabetic, and we tend to keep we try and keep as much as we can, put it that way. Um, it can be quite tough. You've got to try, but we've got to be prepared. Hey, worst case scenario, you're going to be prepped for when trouble comes. But if you're prepped and it doesn't come, then all good, right? But I think it's a good idea to at least keep things in the back of your mind for the time being. Carry on with your life, continue with your life, but be prepared for an effect that could come about due to an orchestrated World War III. Maybe not as extreme as bombs being dropped on your head, but rationing. I think if they bring out the rationing, that could then see the implementation of a ID. It's not going to be a fucking bit of paper, that's for sure. It might start off as a bit of paper, but it's the stepping stone to the implant that documents all medical records, bank account details, you name it. We're heading down that road, and like Bill Cooper said, I mean, what Bill said was, if all else fails, they could use Russia to roll out the New World Order. That could be the fucking plan anyway. Never mind if all else fails. Because let's face it, they could roll out anything they want at any time they want. We've seen that. We just seen it. We're currently still living through it. Anyway, a wee bit sidetracked there. It's going to be a long one tonight. To be honest, I don't think we're that far away. So we're almost there. You've made it. Just. Oh, man. When I do a long live stream, I don't know what it is. I can never get to sleep after it. Oh, so tonight my head is going to be like chaos, put it that way. All very fitting, right? What it reminded me of, it clearly never reminded anyone else of. Which is quite funny, right? It shows you how, yeah, disconnected I am with everyone else. But instantly when I seen this is from the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics, which was only not that long ago. The first thing that sprung to my mind was this: the James Webb Telescope. Now, maybe you can see why, but it's the first thing that sprung to my mind is, wait a minute, that looks a bit like the James Webb Telescope. You maybe can't see the design as great as I would like you to in the middle, but it's like the honeycomb. So I thought there was a lot of similarity with it. I thought, fuck, that looks a bit like the bloody James Webb Telescope. I thought, surely they're not going to show us the Earth and the moon, right? Well, yeah, they did. They went out. What they did was they had like a dome Earth, I guess a globe Earth. No, sorry, like a flat Earth, not the full globe. Certainly not the full globe. It had a dome Earth with a simulation of the sun. Sorry, the moon. I'm looking right at it and I got it wrong. So it had this star flying around, floating about, the James Webb star. Then you had the dome Earth at the bottom. Then you had the moon simulation floating at the top. And I thought, Jesus, what is this about, right? Then the star comes down into the middle and it forms into this big, huge, bright star. And I couldn't help but think about the bright star that we seen at the very start, which is in the the Masonic Lodge. It looked a bit like that. This is just a clip of it. And then a big shooting beam up the middle, which, as Paramod pointed out, kind of like an alien invasion. That crossed my mind as well. But certainly the Masonic Star, the James Webb Telescope. And when I seen the moon, I kind of thought, yeah, it's a bit funny that. And it didn't end there. Yeah, there's more. At the end, they had a fireworks display. Did anyone has anyone actually watched this ceremony? I hope not, surely not, right? Only I am stupid enough to suffer such a thing. I had to skip through quite a lot of it. It was about 2 hours long, and I thought, "Nope, I'm not sitting watching this for 2 hours. I've got things to do, but not that." So I kinda what would be the phrase? Proofread it? That's probably not the right phrase. I glanced through it, right? I skipped through it. We'll go with that. And at the very end, they had a fireworks display. Yeah. And as you can see, that there was the Olympic rings. Of course, the Olympic rings, right? But wait and you see the next one. One world. That's what it created. That's the two words that the fireworks created. One world in big writing in the sky. And it never ended there. The next one said, "One family," in big letters in the sky. You'd think I was making it up, but I'm not. You can go and check it out. It's on YouTube. Clear as day. And I mean, it's pretty clear where it's all heading. They want to eventually roll out a one world order, a one world government. And the icing on the cake, I kid you not, I am not making this up. At the very end, what did they all sing? Yep, you guessed it. The Masonic Auld Lang Syne with a big rose in the middle. Yeah, Auld Lang Syne. Of course, we touched on Auld Lang Syne last week in the new War Order Part 1. So that kind of gets this is me today, me, by the way. This is today, me, 2024 me, deep fake me. That was 2022 me. Quite interesting. Looking back on it, a bit eerie. Oh, thanks very much. Being looked after by the 77th tonight. Great stuff. Much appreciated. And Justine's on the horse. So thank you very much, Justine. Always a pleasure. You take care. We're cracking on. Nearly the midnight here. So that was basically a kind of roundup on the whole Olympic Games, which was in Beijing. Where did I say Japan? Hey, it wasn't far away, right? It wasn't that far away. So in Beijing, and yeah, I remember the ceremony was bloody weird, man. Super weird. It had a right dodgy feel to it. Pretty much everything does these days, but it was pretty strange. So there's one other bit that I want to point out. So I'm gonna try and go on to it. Here it is here. I need to get to the start of it. Oh, why is it being a bugger? Do you remember that was the Putin was having a meeting with Macron? Look at the table. Best friends, right? I'll sit down this side of the football pitch, and you sit at the other side, and we'll talk from there. I mean, you couldn't get any further away. Right? How did they even hear each other? I guess they had headphones in, but that was really comical. That so that what I want to point out before we kind of wrap it up, we're not quite done yet, I'm afraid. Why is it being a bugger? Let's see. Can I get to it without two of me speaking? Stuff of nightmares. That there's two of them. There's past me and present me. I think we're it's just about there anyway. So, yeah, what I'll do is I'll play it. Oh, it would help if there was volume. Just about quite a bit. Seemingly, it's a recent photo of Putin. So, again, this is in relation to this image that came out at the time. So, here it goes. Of course, that's not 33. But what about 38? Anyone got much on that? Yeah. Let's now jump to the Gematria calculator. I don't often do this, but this one stuck out. I'm unsure as to why. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look at that one. So, if I can work it, what we're going to do, hopefully, is screen share, right? And of course, yeah, Justine, 8 is basically 2 threes, right? That was one of the first things that crossed my mind. It's a bit like free, free, free. But it is clearly a 38. There's actually 2. Um, where is it? Why is it? Oh, there it goes. You couldn't make it any more clearer, I guess. So, I mean, out of interest, everyone knows I'm not an expert on anything, especially not gematria or anything like that. And to be honest, when it comes to numbers, I don't go there. I'm bad enough with words. Never mind numbers, right? Honestly, I'm hopeless. I really am. Anyway, what I did is I went to the Gematria calculator. Let me see if I can get rid of this. There we go. So I went over there, right? And for some reason I thought, right, put in 38, but write it. Don't put it as a number. So I wrote it in the Gematria calculator. And going by this, 38 in Jewish gematria equals 826. Now, I mean, that means nothing really to me. But if you look at 826 and what comes up for that, yikes, is all I'm going to say. The very first one, 826 in Jewish, pay for your sins, is 826. Ray God on earth, Holy Spirit, loving, raven. I'm going to pick out selected. Nuclear bomb at football game. Nuclear bomb at football game. 826. Now, what I do know in regards to football games is that Russia was due to hold the Champions League final in Russia this year on May the 28th. But they've took it away from Russia. It's one of their sanctions, right? The good old West. So it's going to be somewhere else. And I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make any radical predictions, but it's all very strange that. Maybe it's just me. Nuclear bomb at football game. Believer, Holy Spirit, soul family, stimulus package, order of the Illuminati. 141. Thou shalt not kill. Look for the numbers. There's another one. Occult Grand Master 826. Yeah. Kind of strange, right? Volcanic 826. Is it just me that finds it a bit strange that's what ended up coming up when I looked into it, even though, and bearing in mind that I very ever rarely look into anything that has to do with numbers or gematria. Epistemology. Epistemology? Mhm. Gematria playbook. AstraZeneca. You'd think I was fucking making this up, right? You really would. I mean, it's all rather strange, in my opinion. I mean, I'm unsure what to make of it, but it's quite strange, right? Smart money. It is time, my child. I am the king of myself, Almighty God's bride. John Cleese. Wow, that is so weird. Don't mention the war. Mega tsunami La Palmas. Wow, that is fucking weird. That one kind of gave me the shivers. I should put this away, right? 826 again. Wow. Yeah, I think I should maybe just stop, to be honest. Is it just me that finds that real? So it's me again, 2024 me. And that, of course, we done that in 2022. And looking back on it now, quite strange. I don't know if you noticed, also in that was total eclipse of the heart, which at the time I don't think I seen, but I see it now. It was there. And the football game thing stood out in particular. So I want to take you now to the kind of present day. What's my dog doing now? He's agitated. He's giving it, what do the numbers mean? He's wanting walked, of course. And yeah, I'll take you back to the slide. Slide away. There we go. So yeah, we've got 2024 Paris Olympics. And you've got Macron, kind of fitting that we seen him sitting at the table with Putin, of all people. And now France is holding the Summer Olympic Games, the 33rd on the Olympic calendar. And Macron's been saying that Russia are threatening the Olympic Games and seeking to undermine the Games. The security threats looming over this summer's Olympics in Paris. And of course, they've got the football Olympics at the Paris, at the Games as well. Russian president has no doubt. Is this what they discussed at the meeting? French president has no doubt Russia will target Paris Olympics. Right, but in what way? Now, this was only a week ago. Potential conditioning potential programming, I would honestly rule nothing out whatsoever, going by what we've been discussing. And there was a big security threat at one of the Champions League football games between Arsenal of London against Bayern Munich of Germany. And seemingly the Islamic State said there was going to be a bomb, basically. And I seen it at the time. There was big talk about, oh, they might have to cancel the game, and they weren't sure if it could go ahead. It went ahead anyway. So they never cancelled it, but I thought, that's interesting. Football game being targeted. Terrorist threat. Don't say they're planning on using a nuclear device. Some form of nuclear device, they might call it. Will we see that at the Paris Olympic Games? Is that where it's heading at the moment? I can't rule it out, I'm afraid. And this came out as well the other week. Russia planning false flag operation at nuclear power plant in Kiev. A false flag? I thought that was a conspiratorial thing. Yet here we are in the mainstream. Russian forces are preparing to carry out a quote, false flag operation at Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Ukraine's military has said after a drone struck the facility and hiked fears over its fate, given its location on the front line of fighting. Now, if you go back about, I don't even think a year ago, I had kind of went out on a limb and said the main targets will likely be a nuclear power plant. That's where something's going to go down. So when I seen this, I thought, maybe not so far off the mark. And I concluded that with a couple of bits of information, but in particular from not constant but continuous monitoring of flight radar over several weeks. And I had noticed that certain nuclear power plants in, I think, Romania, Poland, Ukraine, and what was the other one? Because I mentioned they were targets due to the flight paths of military aircraft that I had been watching at the time. And when I looked into where they were basically circling nuclear power plants. And I thought, well, they're a target then, right? So I thought, whatever's going to go down, and I think I even said whether it be an actual attack or a false flag or some form of incident, it's going to likely be at a nuclear power plant. So when when I seen this, I thought, oh no, don't say that's what it's going to be. But it looks like it might be. In thinking back over the past 2 years, it's been a gradual climb into what is now, in my view, most definitely a new war order where we basically live in a world of many, many wars over many, many years, perpetual state of war. And who do you think is going to be the one that loses out? It's going to be us. And not, I mean, everyone. And what year did John Cleese die again? Was it last year or the year before? It might have even been 2022. I'm unsure now, but it wasn't long ago, right? I would have to double check, but it's quite recent. Yeah, quite funny. The guy Cleese. What was the film I watched again when he kept running late? What was it called? Wasn't called Time. Was On Time maybe? I can't remember the name of it now, but it was quite funny. Probably most known for what is it, Monty Python? I'm sure it was recent that he passed away. So it's all a bit. I mean, I can't really put anything in concrete, but I reckon we could see an incident at the Olympic Games this summer. Maybe at the football. Pre that, possibly even Champions League final, there might be an incident that might even spark. Which is interesting. So I can only blame the the Scottish weather for that. It's a nuisance that. So if it's buffering, it might be due to Scottish Wi-Fi. Let's go with that. Scottish Wi-Fi and Scottish weather. But yeah, I wouldn't be setting anything in stone, but I can't rule anything out for the time being. And I noticed, sort of on a bit of a side note, where is it? We're not going to have time to get another passage, but we can cover that from Albert Pike next time. Quite an interesting, yeah, it's an interesting one. So you might want to be about for that. But I noticed yesterday, I think I seen it. It's to do with Dublin in Ireland. And seemingly Dublin, they're 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 wanting to join CERN. And it was news to me that this was even a thing. And basically you pay millions and you get a seat at the CERN table, and I don't know, they get to prod you with atoms and protons. You can imagine it, right? But I mean, honestly, who would want to be part of the CERN club? Well, Dublin, by the looks of it. I'm not sure. Maybe they've had their ceremony and they're now knighted at the table at CERN. So I'm sure the people from I'm sure the people from Ireland will be happy with that, right? Like they've not got enough things to worry about at home. Their government's joining them up to CERN. Look out for strange stuff in Ireland soon. In Dublin, if this is to go through. 1.9 what is it, million, sorry, a year, over 5 years, and then they have a look at it and see if you're still quite fit enough to do it. I mean, a wee country like Ireland paying that amount of money for what exactly? To get a seat at the table at CERN and be in the know of the experiments that are being conducted. I dread to imagine what they are, but I'll have to do a check if Scotland have got a seat there. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. They throw money away here like there's no tomorrow. Pardon the pun. But hey, that's the world we're in today. We've had quite a few again tonight in Twitter and on YouTube. So fantastic. Great stuff. Not quite as many as last night, mind you. That was an insane amount of people. Well over 500 people, with about 480 of them being on X that were watching, and I think the video's got like 800 views. And on YouTube, I think, I don't know, 500 maybe. So that was a record-breaking audience that we had last night. And you were part of it. Don't forget, you probably never could. Get him off! Sick of that Scottish guy now. 2 nights in a row, banging on about World War III, chemtrails and CERN and nuclear bombs, right? Hey, there'll be plenty more of that to come, most definitely, in the world we're in today. So I reckon I'll be back. Oh, I'm actually on the last Jacobites on Sunday, which is on Spacebook. And then I think maybe next Wednesday, God granted, of course. And it's going to be geoengineering. Not that again! Yeah, the chemtrails again. I've covered that now. I've been covering geoengineering, if you can call it that, several times now over, I think, the past 4 years. Probably longer. And I'll continue to do it. And I've said before, people have said, oh, don't cover that. Don't, if you want to get views and viewers, don't talk about the chemtrails. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm not here to take sides or to please anybody. I'm here to do what I want to do. So if I want to cover the chemtrail scenario, then I'll be covering it. So next Wednesday, we'll be getting into geoengineering. And I done a stream on my backup channel, geoengineering, the risks versus the benefits. And there were no benefits, basically. They were all risks. I don't know how they could have called them benefits, but that was an interesting stream. It's probably not even got 200 views, but I definitely feel it was worth doing. The views are kind of irrelevant. I put it out there, so it's there. If people want to check it out. Yeah, the risks versus the benefits. And the risks to it, to be honest, you probably wouldn't even want to know. That's how bad it is. Ignorance is bliss, right? But I can tell you now, it does not look good, I'm afraid to say. So I'll jump in the chat and we will begin to wind it down. We're just over the 3-hour mark. So Spanish Chicken, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Bri, fantastic. Good to see you. By QNV. Doesn't ring a bell. I would need to check it out. Rory, a pleasure to see you tonight, sir. I hope you're doing well. Best wishes. Spanish, Bry, no longer on the ball. Oh, we weren't at 33 then, were we? Ah, man. You can't get away from it, right? It's like a real virus. Not one of them make-uppy ones, right? Incoming strike. He said make-uppy virus. Take him down. We have to protect the people at YouTube. Sure, why not? Plain Steve, good to see you, Steve. I hope you're doing well. Late in the door by the looks of it tonight. Probably about 50 press ups for that. So I'm sure Steve will be doing them now. Top man. Paul from Newcastle. And thanks again for the support on the 9/11 stream that I done with Mez and 9/11 Revisionist. The guy from South Africa. I'm actually going to be chatting with him and maybe in a week or so, I'll get him on. He does great work on 9/11 and he's a great guy. I love the South Africans. They're great. They're a certain breed of people, a bit like the Scottish. So you definitely want to be there for that. It'll be a good crack. Retro as well in the hood. Good to see you, Retro. Hope you're doing well. What's the war about? Good question. Of course, any war orchestrated is about furthering the agenda. If they tell you any different via the mainstream media, they're telling tales. Shock horror. It's because Russia's the boogeyman. That's probably what they'll say. So good to see you, Nathan. I hope you're doing well. Justine, who had to dash. I hope you're doing well. And thank you to 77th Brigade, who, I mean, yeah, good to have you, I think, possibly. Is it good? Is it bad? We don't know. A pleasure to see you, and thank you for the super chat and sent some as well. Top man, our English brother, thank you kindly for supporting the content. Much appreciated. And to the people who are members, Justine sent some. I could name them all probably. Dawn, and I think one other person who she's not here often, but she's a long-term subscriber, and her name's failing me now. Oh man, that is terrible. That is shocking, but much appreciated. Fantastic. What's her name again? I'm probably going to get it wrong anyway, so I better not go there. So yeah, interesting. It's been great. It's been good to catch up in the chat for a bit. Did I miss anybody there before I find a tune? Bry, Paul, Steve, Spanish Chicken, Basil Faulty, yeah. Glon, John Cleese. Hey, it's late, right? This is me now. 2 days maxed out on about 6 hours of streaming. There you go. What can I say? Hey, you can't say I don't try, right? I do my best. Whether that's good enough, I don't know. That's for you to decide, right? I give it my best shot. I come here open-minded, open heart, and willing to listen and put across stuff that I think matters. Basically, I'm a normal dude with a deep concern as well about the world that we're in. And the channel's I think it's into its 5th year, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still unsure as to where it's all going, what I'm doing, what the plan is. There is no plan. It just sort of takes care of itself. A bit like life, in a sense. You know, sometimes you tend to worry about stuff and, oh, this might happen, that, and then in the end, it's fine. Everything sorts itself out. So it's been a bit like that. Boyle as well in the hood. Boily Boyle, fantastic. Good to see you. Is Ulick here? He could be away, but good to see Ulick as well. A great guy. So what I'll do is I'll find a tune, and will I play the one we came in on? I don't know. I don't know. I done that yesterday. I mean, I've played them all before, so I'll go with one of the Apollo videos. Yeah, the moon landing. Because remember when they landed on the moon? In fact, 12 Americans in total walked on the moon. Physically walked on it. Sure. I mean, how anybody can believe that, I don't know, but I guess, yeah, you can trust NASA, right? And what you always get from people who think NASA don't lie is they say, how can that many people lie? It would be impossible. So there's a cap on how many people can lie? Yeah, sure. Why not? I think they need to get out more, right? Definitely. So thanks again to everyone for joining. We're going to wrap it up. What I'm going to do is probably walk the dog. I'm hoping it stopped raining. If it's still raining, nah, you can wait till tomorrow. I've got a study day anyway. And then probably watch a film with my better half, my wife, and then call it a night. Quite tired. I didn't get much sleep still. And I mentioned that in 2022. How I basically don't get much sleep. Nothing's changed, man. Still the same. Insomniac. Insomnia? Yeah, we'll go with that. Insomnia. Like the guy from Faithless. I think he's sleeping now, though. All right for some, right? So, been a pleasure. I hope everyone has a good rest of the week, a good weekend. I'll be away to the football on Saturday. Hopefully, there's no nukes. Touch wood. And quite a big game from a local team. So I'm looking forward to that. Catching up with friends and enjoying my weekend. Hey, I'm not getting any younger, that's for sure. Then Sunday with the kids, then back to college on Monday. In fact, tomorrow I've got quite a bit. Well, yeah, it is quite a bit. Who am I kidding? I'd be kidding myself. I've got quite a bit of college work to catch up on, but I've got stuff I need to do in the garden. But the rain, man, the rain and the wind has been putting it off and putting it off. Now I've got grass that's up to my knee. It's not far away from knee height, so it's like, come on. Rain, rain, go to Spain. Don't come back again. Well, come back when we need you, then you can bugger off again. But hey, I'll get there. It'll get done. There's no sense in crying over spilt grass. Let's go with that. So, what time is the sunset in Elgin? At the moment, I think it's about. I think it goes down just now at about 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9. Then it comes up again. It's quite early at the moment. I think about 4 o'clock, if I remember from last night when I was still up. I'm sure it was coming up. I mean, it's well on its way by 5 a.m. because the night before it wasn't until about 6 a.m. that I got to sleep. And it was that the daylight was so bad. I had to put I had a jumper beside my bed, and I put the sleeve of it over my eyes to darken out the sun. I need to get darker curtains. but my wife deals with that. So I'm just a man, right? What do I know? But maybe one of them stupid eye masks that darken out the light. But yeah, it's definitely getting earlier and setting later, which is good. I like that as well. I prefer although I don't know. I mean, I like summer, but I like dark nights as well. So you can't win. There's no winning, not in this world. So thanks again. Remember what I always say. Don't live in fear, not for one split second. Don't do it. Don't buy it. Nobody gets in your way. Nobody, man. Don't let it, no matter who they think they are, they do not get in your way. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Several, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
I am the passenger, and I ride and I ride. I ride through the city's backside. I see the stars come out of the sky. Yeah, they're bright in a hollow sky. You know it looks so good tonight. I am the passenger. I stay under glass. I look through my window so bright. I see the stars come out tonight. I see the bright and hollow sky. Oh, the city's redback sides, and everything looks good tonight. Say la 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 la. Get into the car, we'll be the passenger. We'll ride through the city at night. I see the city's ripped back sides. We'll see the bright and hollow sky. We'll see the stars that shine so bright. The sky was made for us tonight. The passenger, how he rides. Oh, the passenger, and he rides and he rides. He looks through his window. What does he see? He sees the sign and hollow sky. He sees the stars come out tonight. He sees the city's ripped back sides. He sees the winding ocean drive. And everything was made for you and me. And all of it was made for you and me. It just belongs to you and me. So let's take a ride and see what's mine. Sing la 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 passenger, he rides and he rides. He sees things from under glass. He looks through his window side. He sees the things that he knows are his. He sees the bright and hollow sky. He sees the cities asleep at night. He sees the stars are out tonight. And all of it is yours and mine. And all of it is yours and mine. So let's ride and ride and ride and ride. Oh. Sing la 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 la.
I know for a fact, we've had this analyzed, and this is the window, and you're in, and it's dated by an atomic clock at the Goldstone tracking station, which is on the tape.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight. We're not.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight. We're guys going on a flight. We're not.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get
I'm heading out. I appreciate it.
Get the hell out of the house.
Well, I hate your stuff and get the fuck out. Hate your stuff and get the fuck out.
When the shadows interact with, I don't give a damn about all that shit. I don't give a damn about all that shit.
Back in my element. Crunch time in the final four. Come in and I trailblaze. I've been walking through the fire, so I gotta get everything.
If you show this publicly, you're open for a lawsuit. Okay?
Mr. Seibel, you do not